solve digital divide problems. And Kenya and Congo abolish visa restrictions to enhance trade opportunities. Hello and welcome to Addis News Hour. I'm Daniel Kasahon with the news. Ethiopia's State Minister for Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Misganu Arga, met with Deputy Minister of Economy and Chairman of Small and Medium Business Development Agency of Azerbaijan, Sahib Mamadov and Orkan Mamadov, respectively. They discussed mechanisms of promoting trade and investment parallel to forging closer business-to-business ties that will ultimately boost wider economic relations between Ethiopia and Azerbaijan. On the other hand, Minister of State Misganu Arga today held a fruitful discussion with the chairman of the State Agency for Public Service and Social Innovations of Azerbaijan, Alvi Ramiz Oglu Meydev. The primary focus of the discussion was to explore best practices and experiences in public service delivery with the aim of emulating them in Ethiopia. Similarly, the State Minister paid a visit to the Alat Free Economic Zone, Afez, adjacent to Baku, and conferred with the chairman of the Board of Afez Authority, Valeh Alasgrov. You are watching the live transmission of Addis News Hour from the African capital, Addis Ababa. The International Telecommunications Union said digital divide problems can be addressed by coming together in unison from multiple telecommunication, government and private stakeholders and also partners. Talking to ETV, the International Telecommunications Union Secretary General Bogdan Martin reiterated that the International Telecommunications Union is excited to have worked collaboratively with the Ethiopian government stakeholders in infrastructure development. Tigasarnisa reports.
Paying an official working visit in Ethiopia's Malgadida, Somali regional state, UN's International Telecommunications Union Secretary General and UNHCR Deputy High Commissioner had launched a new transformational agenda to bring connectivity to refugees around the world for the first time. In Ethiopia, numerous refugee hosting areas face connectivity challenges, but evolving policy frameworks present new opportunities for infrastructure investment, capitalizing on the potentially larger customer base that these displaced communities can bring to operators. The national launch on the 30th of June 2023 by the Ethiopian Telecommunications Authority of the tender for a second new telecommunications license is another step closer to affordable connectivity for over 120 million Ethiopians, including displaced communities that are amongst the most marginalized. Approached by ETV International Telecommunications Union, ITU Secretary General Bogdan Martin reiterated that ITU is excited to have worked collaboratively with Ethiopian government as well as other stakeholders in infrastructure development.
So we're working very closely with the Ministry of ICT and Innovation. We're working very closely with the Communications Authority, and we're excited about the plans in terms of the Universal Service Fund and how that fund can be used to tap into supporting infrastructure development and internet access in some of the most rural areas to connect the hardest to connect, which of course includes refugees and their host communities, so that's also a big priority.
The Secretary General further noted that digital divide problems can be addressed by coming together in unison within stakeholders and also partners.
There's a big digital divide, and I would say that there's room for all partners and all stakeholders to come together to help address this problem. Closing the digital divide is not something that one institution like the ITU can do alone. We need to work with government stakeholders, with the ICT regulators, with the private sector, with other UN partners like UNHCR, civil society, and academia. I think we all need to come together to close the digital gap, to bring the infrastructure to the places that are not currently connected.
She further added that both ITU and UNHCR had a roundtable on digital inclusion and connectivity for refugees and host communities in Ethiopia.
Today we convened a roundtable with different agencies from the Ethiopian government, different financial institutions, the World Bank, the IFC, the African Development Bank, different private sector partners, RRS as well, to talk about what can we do together to contribute here in Ethiopia. And we've announced this transformative pledge, which of course focuses on refugees here in Ethiopia, but refugees and forcibly displaced persons around the world.
The Secretary General also calls on all stakeholders to join ITU in the important commitment of connecting the unconnected.
We need to look at the digital solutions that we're going to bring forward, and we need to look at the facilities that need to be connected to digital. So that's schools, hospitals, and many other institutions that are not currently connected. And so we're calling on all stakeholders to join us in this important commitment that we'll take forward to the Global Refugee Forum, and we'll also take forward to the ITU's own Partner to Connect pledging platform.
You're watching this news hour. Moving to the next news, the Ethiopian Red Cross Society has warmly welcomed the solicitation of the government to be part of the Disaster Risk Management Council. Senior officials of the Ethiopian Red Cross Society and the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies Governing Board Oversight Group met Shifarot Kilmarem, Commissioner of the Ethiopian Disaster Risk Management Commission, in an open discussion. Common interest and enthusiasm to further deepen cooperation between Ethiopian Red Cross Society and the movement partners were highlighted. Secretary General of the Ethiopian Red Cross Society, Getachew Ta'a, for his part said his keenness to work being part of the new initiative, Disaster Risk Management Council. He added that the society would bring its robust potential for its success. On the occasion, issues in the sphere of scaling up multi-sectoral cooperation through aligned operational plans, tools and mechanisms were discussed. The former Prime Minister of Ethiopia, Hailemariam Desalegn, said the government of Ethiopia needs to strengthen advocacy and diplomacy to expand the exemplary Green Legacy Initiative for African countries. As part of its Green Legacy Initiative, Ethiopia has been planting billions of tree seedlings and sharing some of these to neighboring countries in an effort to combat the borderless impacts of climate change together. Although the initiative has been admired by countries and regional institutions, the support to expand the good experiences looks limited in the continent. According to him, Ethiopia is the first country in Africa that crafted climate-resilient green growth, which includes forestry and watershed activities. The country has been undertaking tree seedlings plantation programs and integrated watershed management systems to protect the environment from the impacts of climate change.
Welcome to the land of origins. Commercial Bank of Ethiopia is pleased to serve all your traveler banking needs. If you have money from any of these 16 countries, you can convert it to local currency by visiting our nearest branch. Alternatively, our secure Forex ATMs accept cash exchange, or if you prefer using your cards, we've partnered with Visa, MasterCard, and UnionPay so that you can withdraw cash from our local ATMs or make cashless transactions at thousands of local POS partners securely and with confidence. We are linked with more than 700 global banks through our direct SWIFT address, CBE Teta. We also work with 16 international money transfer agents, out of which Tune and World Remit enable you to make direct deposits into our savings and current accounts or our popular CBE Burr mobile wallet. Commercial Bank of Ethiopia, the bank you can always rely on.
Welcome back. This news hour is being transmitted to you from the land of origins, Ethiopia. Ethiopia shared its experience on artificial intelligence at an ambassadors roundtable at the Artificial Intelligence for Good Global Summit 2023, organized by the International Telecommunication Union in Geneva, Switzerland. Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary Permanent Representative of Ethiopia to the United Nations Office at Geneva, Tsagab Kbabo, in his intervention, highlighted Ethiopia's experience on the field. The ambassador stated that in 2020, the government of Ethiopia established the first ever Artificial Intelligence Institute mandated to provide research-based artificial intelligence services, mainly focused on 5 major areas such as artificial intelligence, robotics, big data, natural language processing, machine learning, and computer vision. He further elaborated that the government primarily used artificial intelligence for the improvement of the country's health and agricultural sectors, revenue and tax collections, as well as customer support for service providing organizations such as the airlines. In business, Akshay J Oil, an Indian company engaged in avocado oil production in Jimma Industrial Park, is building a factory with an outlay of $17 million to produce solid and liquid compost from waste products, according to the Industrial Park Manager. Jimma Industrial Park Manager Tesfaye Lekisa told the Ethiopian news agency that Akshay J Oil Company has taken 4 hectares of land and is undertaking construction work as part of expanding its investments. The factory is also expected to complete in 5 months, he said, adding it will be utilized for incoming investors, playing a crucial role in protecting the environment. The park has 9 sheds and 2 of them are occupied by investors, he said, calling on other investors to come and invest in the industrial park, especially to process coffee, honey, wood products, packaging, among others. Currently, more than 1,000 job opportunities are created for citizens in the park, and when fully operational, it will create 10,000 jobs. So far, the Jimma Industrial Park has created market linkage for 15,000 farmers.
ጤና ይስጥልኝ ተመልካቾቻችን፣
ይህ የምልክት ቋንቋ ፕሮግራም ነው።
ያንን መነሻ አድርገን የተለያዩ ጥናታዊ ጽሁፎችን ካሰባሰብን በኋላ ነው ወደ ለውጥ ይሄር ነው። ከዛ ነጥርሲትም አሉ።
እናመሰግናለን። አሁን ደግሞ የምንገኘው በኤፍኤም 97.1 ስቱዲዮ ውስጥ ነው። ካንጋፋ እስከ ወጣት የተቋሙ ሰራተኞች እዚህ ይገኛሉ። የኤፍኤም ሬዲዮአችን ማለት ነው። እንዲሁም
Welcome to the land of origins. Commercial Bank of Ethiopia is pleased to serve all your traveler banking needs. If you have money from any of these 16 countries, you can convert it to local currency by visiting our nearest branch. Alternatively, our secure Forex ATMs accept cash exchange, or if you prefer using your cards, we've partnered with Visa, MasterCard, and UnionPay so that you can withdraw cash from our local ATMs or make cashless transactions at thousands of local POS partners securely and with confidence. We are linked with more than 700 global banks through our direct SWIFT address, CBE Theta. We also work with 16 international money transfer agents, out of which Tune and WorldRemit enable you to make direct deposits into our savings and current accounts or our popular CBE Birr mobile wallet. Commercial Bank of Ethiopia, the bank you can always rely on.
So for those of you who feel they need something to give strength to their relationship and love, this has also gotten to the Fish River Canyon. As you can see, we have a couple of love locks here on the chains that take you down the hiking path. On this episode of Across All Borders Going South, it's all about the long road south. A trip to Fish River Canyon, Namibia, the world's second largest canyon. If you put in Google Map Windhoek to Hobus Camp, which is one of the lodges close to the Fish River Canyon, you will see immediately that it is about 644 kilometers, or if you started from Luderitz, it's 419 kilometers to the Hobus Camp. The Fish River Canyon is the second largest canyon in the world after the Grand Canyon. It commences at Seeheim at the lowest course of the river. The canyon is 161 kilometers long, 27 kilometers wide, and up to 550 meters deep. About the campsite or the Hobus accommodation and campsite offers different types of stays. So you've got lodges, and they've even got a pool for the rooms, and you've got the campsite.
Welcome back. You're watching at this news hour. Kenyan President William Ruto has announced the agreement between Kenya and Congo to abolish visa restrictions to enhance trade opportunities. Speaking when he held bilateral talks with the Congolese President Denis Sassou Nguesso, Kenya is committed in partnering with Congo in the transport, tourism and education sectors and expand their economic interests. Johannes Fantana has more from Africa News.
The Kenyan head of state William Ruto on a state visit to Congo-Brazzaville has announced the removal of visa restriction to ease movement of people between his country and Congo. Received on arrival by his counterpart Denis Sassou Nguesso, President Ruto addressed a message to members of the parliament gathered in Congress. Ruto deplored the fact that Africa is a victim of climate change despite emitting only 4% of greenhouse gases. The Kenyan leader also expressed the shock at the fact that the continent's low-income countries are spending 24% of their GDP on debt payments, which are strangling them.
African countries are spending more on debt service than any other expenditure, including public services, including health, including education, including provision of water. We have reached the point where debt and well-being are mutually exclusive. And this is a matter of fundamental justice. These economic and financial challenges associated with climate change keep pushing African governments into greater macroeconomic instability and closer to debt distress. Low and middle-income countries are now contending with a conditional fiscal burden of trying to recover from increasingly frequent and high-cost climate crisis.
To facilitate the movement of people and goods, William Ruto announced the abolition of visas between Congo and his country.
We have already made the decision as the government of Kenya that for you people from Congo, Brazzaville, from tomorrow, you will not need any visa to come to Kenya. It is part of the reason that will begin to increase trade between our countries. When people move, ideas move. Relationships are built. Business is built. Enterprise is built. Trade is built. And that is what we must do.
One agreement was signed to this effect and 17 others in various fields: agriculture, livestock, environment and tourism, mining industries and geology, diplomatic training, promotion of cooperatives, among others.
Finally, let us recap the headlines. The International Trade Union says collective efforts are needed to solve digital divide problems. And Kenya and Congo abolish visa restrictions to enhance trade opportunities. That's all for this edition. Thank you for your company. Stay tuned with the rest of our transmissions.